So funny. I just started this whole reading, okay? And then my sister had something to tell me. So then I did what I thought, paused the video, but it actually ended the video. And then once I end the video, I can't pick it back up again. So just know the whole thing that I started with was raising your vibration. So that's what I feel. I feel like, some times might have changed, okay? Like maybe we're getting into like change, right? What I was talking about was raising your vibration through music, right? Music has the ability to raise or lower your frequency. And when you find the right artist, I was talking about Mumford and Sons. It comes in when you listen to it, it unleashes something in your body that raises you up as opposed to pulls you down. Right. So I feel like maybe I'm almost getting like Scorpio energy with this right now. Like, because Scorpio energy would be death, right? Death is not death. It's transition. We don't die. When we die, just because you physically don't see the body anymore, it doesn't mean that you're not in another realm. Like there are many people who say that they cross over and they see people and they see their family members and they see this and they see that and they know that there's something else going on. And I believe it. I don't believe that when you die, you're just dead and in the ground. I believe that there's a lot more to death than what you see on the surface. I just happened to flip these both up in reverse. Oh my gosh, look at all three of them went in reverse. I'm going to kind of take that as a sign. Okay, so I feel like somebody is now, I think, almost going to be turned into a warrior. Okay. It's almost as if I feel like something's been keeping you from being able to rise higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, because the whole point of basically time is to learn and to grow and to evolve, right? That's all time does. It's an evolution, right? It evolves and it never stops. It continues on and on and on, whether you want it to or not. You continue to age, you continue to decay, you continue to change, you continue down your path if you're alive, right? So I feel like maybe someone's been kept from really diving in deep on what their true calling is, because I think somebody is a warrior. I think somebody has the ability to fight against a plague, carry a bunch of people to the end of the road and know how. It's almost like somebody is turning into like a messiah. Like all of a sudden that word just came in to my mouth, and I don't use that word. But it's like, you know what I'm getting? And like, I don't read the Bible or anything. This is like really weird. I'm getting like Noah's Ark, when he takes all the animals and he goes on to the boat. The thing is that that's not that far-fetched of a story. Like it is when it comes to, he grabbed every animal and every seed and every blah, blah, blah. Okay. But he grabbed enough and then he left, right? And then came back once the water subsided. And we've got water here. So it's almost like I feel like maybe somebody had a calling to do something, but they couldn't do it unless they had a buddy system. It's like not everybody can do everything alone. And for the most part, humans don't do things alone. They have friends, they have support, or they have family. Right? They have something around them that allows, them to keep their four walls, hypothetically speaking, right, around them, shielding them. But I feel like somebody their four walls were stomped upon, like they were people just took up space and took your, trespassed, even though you said not to. It's like they violated your rights as a person. Right? And these were like so-called friendships. So what can you say when someone's saying, I love you, so I'm going to give you my best advice. Don't fucking do this, blah, blah, blah. And then there's like some counteract of like, if you don't do this, I'm not going to be friends with you anymore. If you don't do this, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. A lot of like ultimatums on somebody. So somebody became very like weak, very like bend and knee, like very, okay. Constantly like a crowd pleaser, constantly just trying to do what they could for everybody around them. But that wasn't a warrior. That's not what a warrior does. A warrior is there to defend, right? It's there to find, it's almost like the warrior is born out of you, right? It comes to a point where, for instance, this is Night of the Living Dead, right? So it's kind of hard to see because the whole matrix coming through my curtain right now, but it's him. He's got the saw. I believe his girlfriend has already changed. Yeah, there's his girlfriend that he comes to the cabin with that gets changed right away. I don't know if you've seen, is it Night of the Living Dead? Night of the Living Dead. I think this is part 2 though. For some reason, I feel like Warrior could be part 2. Yeah, Evil Dead 2. Just Evil Dead 2, not Night of the Living Dead. Evil Dead 2. So, this movie. So, when he shows up at the cabin, if you've ever seen it, he shows up at the cabin and then she changes right away. She gets bit right away because there's something in the forest. There's something in the forest that changes people, but he stands up against it. He goes against all these spirits and doesn't change over to them, right? That's the thing. That's a good message, right? It's like they stayed in their own waters. Okay, they stayed in their own waters and they tried their best to keep their emotions clear, right? But their emotions got mucky and they got murky and it was hard to see, right, what was going on through the water because everybody kept kicking up the sand. And in water, you can't see if somebody kicks up the sand. It's fucking impossible. You got to wait. All of it settles, like any dust. Even in air, you let a big whole dust pile go, like you're waiting a solid fucking time to make sure all those particles settle. And then you can see through. But when you can't see through it, you really shouldn't move because there's some type of illusion going around because it will settle. The dust always settles. It can't stay in the air. It's heavier than the air, right? So, with friendship, it's like somebody turned first. Somebody that maybe you were supposed to be working with turned on you. And you didn't turn though. And now, because you didn't turn, right, you fought them off. It's almost like I feel like there's a possibility now that that's why you're stepping in, because you could have just passed some type of test where you could have went really sour or you could have went really bitter, really angry, right? We watched this movie last night called Passenger, and it's got Matt Gallum in it. Is that how you spell? Like, I forget his last name, but is there anybody else known in that movie? I don't really think so. Anyway, it's called Passenger. It's a new movie, and it's got the guy from The Haunting. The Haunting in Connecticut. He's also in Nightmare on Elm Street, the new version. His name's Matt something, I think, or something. Anyways, I looked him up because he was like born the same year that I was born. So I was like, yeah, we're the same age, motherfucker. Anyways, he turns fucking psycho. It's like this normal starting movie. They're all in like this fast food shop or whatever. And this guy's giving this other guy a really hard time. He's being a bully. And then this other guy just goes loco. His name's Benson. And he just goes loco. He goes out to his car. He grabs a shotgun and he just shoots this bully fucking right in the face. And then right in the chest. And then he shoots his girlfriend because she's screeching and screaming at the top of her lungs. So he shoots her. And then he goes in the back. He shoots the fucking boss. And then he takes the dude who was being bullied by the other guy, takes him on this road trip all day and goes into his past and tries to help him through his past. It's really fucked up. It was like kind of a good movie though at the same time, because this other guy, Randy, his name is Randy Bradley, he had a really hard time growing up, and he was allowing to be bullied, and Benson didn't understand why this kid would just allow himself to be bullied. So he went through his past and brought him through all these people so that he could make amends with the things that he did wrong in his past, so then he didn't have to feel like he couldn't move at this point. So I almost feel like maybe there were things that happened in your past that, especially with these friendships, these so-called friendships that then turned on you, right? Forcing you to then be a one-man show all of a sudden. Like I'm getting, when my sister's boyfriend at the time, they were in wherever Rihanna's from. Barbados? I think it's Barbados. They were in Barbados. And they got in some type of argument while they were walking home in the ghetto. Okay. They weren't in some nice resort. They were actually staying at a bed and breakfast with their friends. And so they were like in the ghetto of Barbados, and he just left her in the middle of the fucking road in the middle of nowhere. And she goes, his eyes changed. And a lot of people will admit that when somebody goes loco, right before they go loco, their eyes go black. And I encountered a gentleman at the bar fucking maybe 2 months ago, and when I walked up to him, his eyes were black and he came at me. And that's why I told myself I would never fucking do that job again, where I'm working with drunks, because drunk people are some of the worst people to be around. Their energies are so strong and so toxic that they get this turn in them. And I don't know if her boyfriend at the time was drinking, but he had just been ripped off by, some local people, okay? And they charged him way too much money for something. And my sister was like, I fucking told you not to do this with locals. That's what locals do. And he got gypped. He got punked, and he didn't like that. And because of that, it changed him and it hurt her. She then had to walk back to this bed and breakfast in the middle of the jungle by herself. And she was like, she basically felt like she was going to die. So it's like, I don't know if somebody in like the worst situations had turned their back on you and left you for dead, right? Evil Dead 2. He's left all by himself to defend himself, right? Luckily he's got the house, but a house can only defend you so much, right? You've got 4 walls there, most likely 2 entrances, right? Then you've got a bunch of windows. Like, that's one person cannot defend a house. Somehow he manages to, though. That's what's funny about it. He actually manages to keep himself alive, which is the fucked up thing. So I'm thinking, man, people might have put you into some really fucking awful energy, but you stayed alive. Somehow, where normal people who are not woken up and people who are not connected would have died, you somehow stayed alive. And that's what's been murky about the whole thing, is that you couldn't see necessarily why the things were being done to you that they were, why people were just kicking up sand, in your life for no reason, and then making it so then you had to stop. But they could just easily walk away because they know the way out, but they just kick sand around your entire aura. So now you've got all this sand in there and you can't see and you don't know what's going on. So you have to stop. And however long it takes to clear that again, so then you can see, is how long it takes so you can see again. Like, it's really fucking messed up how awful people can be, right? And it's just like how people can affect your life in a way that then makes you unable to move because of something they've kicked up in your life, not you. You settled the waters. Your waters were fine, cool, clean, calm, collected. They fucked up because they turned. And when you've got a contract with somebody or you've got a mission with somebody and they turn on you, they turn on the mission, oof. I don't even want to know what happens to somebody who then just pulls out, right, of something. So we've got sexuality with compassion and restoration. So I feel like this could be a lot of like sexual partners in the past that turned on you, could have had like a lot of one night stands and then woke up in the morning, they weren't there anymore, had people just constantly leaving you, saying that they were going to date you, and then they, start getting around in the pond and then they peace out, right? Because the second that your waters got murky, nobody knew how to deal with that. So they just left, right? Because they didn't want to have the energy to have to look for you or look through something. That was too much energy for people, okay? That's what this spell or this hex on your life kind of created. So the universe is now bowing down and giving you a lot of compassion because of the situation that you've had to be in. I mean, look at him. He's sitting amongst a bunch of cacti. Like, at any point in time, he could just get hit. He could just get, all the time. Like no wonder it's hard to move when you're in such a position like that, right? Especially with friends. Like, all of a sudden, all their daggers come out and you're like, okay, I can't move because if I move, you're going to destroy me for some reason. And there was no reason for it. Nothing happened. You didn't do anything. It was just when people turn, they turn. And when they turn fucking evil, right? When they turn fucking evil. That's the thing. So now the universe is like restoring this balance in friendship, because I think somebody threw the balance of friendship off on you. Okay, so for warrior, we've got justice and highest self. So that's where you've reached a higher self. Okay, and notice that your vibration is a lot higher than what these other people are, which is why I started off the reading talking about Mumford & Sons. Mumford & Sons have this a frequency in their music that taps into a higher level as opposed to a lower level. So when I listen to Mumford & Sons, something changes in me, like my frequency changes while I'm listening to it, you know, to a higher vibration, to a higher level. And I was hearing Mumford & Sons as I sat down to do this reading, right? And then I just got a little bit interrupted, but then I went to go play the video again, and I couldn't because I stopped it. So it was like the universe was almost like, I was like almost trying to get stopped from this message, but the message will always come out that needs to come out regardless if the video works or not, right? So this is justice. This is rising above. Like, you had to rise above in the most extreme circumstances known to man. There was no, how can I give this to you? Compassion given to you. I really don't think there was. I think that's why it's being given now. I'm getting Aquarius energy with Libra. Aquarius, Libra, and Aries. Can you give me this water? So honestly, I mean, even in that movie, Passenger, Randy Bradley is very, very compassionate towards himself on the things that he's done. And it's almost a little bit too much. He's almost protecting himself too much, right? That he almost wants to get hurt because he feels so guilty about the things that he's done in his past that really, he didn't really even know that he did, right? So I'm getting like great diviner with gratitude. It's like, because you've honestly, like, you've been so thankful with what has been going on, you know, like even through the harshest realities, you still somehow stayed balanced, like and peaceful in times where you really wouldn't think one could keep peace, right? But you've got this light in you, and that's why people turn on you, is because they don't like the light. They don't want to have to do something right. People want, you know, if people had a strict growing up, a lot of them want things easy in their future. They don't want to have to work for things. They don't want to have to really try, right? And you force people to try because you've got the light, and you're like, well, the light's on. Why wouldn't you try? And people don't want to. They want to stay in their misery. They want to stay confused. They want to stay in the muck, but you don't. You rise above. You wait until your waters are calm, and then you go forward. You don't just move forward and push things forward amidst chaos, which is what most people do. If their plate is chaotic, they add more to it. They don't try to slow down. They don't try to clear themselves. All they're interested in doing is creating more hectic resources in their life than causing a balance to occur where they stop. It's very hard for people to stop and just relax, right? Take a moment, breathe, chill. No smoking involved. No watching TV. Just chill. I just saw an alien when I closed my eyes there for a second. He had this big shield pack. Like, you know how sometimes you see those aliens drawn that have like space suits on themselves? This alien had a spacesuit on. Weird. My third eye sometimes shows me the weirdest things. Ooh, I can. Nice. Abundance. I can. That's what I've been trying to change in my frequency. I can do this. This will work. I can succeed. I will do this. Changing your frame of mind from what if this, what if this, what if that? Like, have you ever heard we'll cross that bridge when it comes? Because that sentence, and that was actually on the passenger last night. That sentence, when he said that, I went, oh my God, that's what I've been missing. I have been taught and programmed to try to alleviate every possible situation in the future to happen that will make my life a rift. Because every time something happened in my life, okay, that was a wave, a little bit of rift of emotions, my parents backed away from me and left. And if my life wasn't perfect, smooth sailing, nothing going wrong, my parents didn't want to talk to me. They didn't want anything to do with me because they knew that if I needed something, they were not going to give it to me. My stepmother was so adamant on taking everything for herself that she often left my father with nothing. And that was the way she wanted to do it. She was poor when she grew up. She was never going to be poor again. And the thing is, when you try to control the future and things that might happen before they've even come, that's a stressful life. I try to think of every possible situation that could possibly happen when I try to make a move, because I am so desensitized to a stress-free life. I need to know every possible situation that could come up so that I could have it already in the back of my mind that my parents were not going to like it if this happened. It's honestly, the PTSD that runs in a lot of us, it is now turned into this complex trauma because we've never had a moment of peace. We don't know what peace is, don't know what a stress-free environment is. So we try to create it as much as we can in the future for ourselves, but cross that bridge when you get to it, which means you don't have to start thinking of a resolution before you even get to the bridge that you might have to cross. No one's even saying you have to cross it. Just because a bridge is coming up, there's a lot of ways around it. And that's what I've learned, is to go around the bridge sometimes and to not always cross the bridge. Just because somebody says to cross a bridge, guess what? Bridges are man-made. They can falter. Nature and her ground, if I've got a path, should be fine, right? All right, anything else for this reading? Where are we at? Ooh, I'm liking these kind of like shorter videos, so it's not the worst thing to just keep it at 20 minutes, Ooh, just go and bliss. Honestly, walking meditation. Sometimes people just get outside and go for a walk, clear your mind, get back to reality, get back to here, get back to yourself, right? Get back here. A lot of people don't want to be in themselves. They don't want to be a part of it. They want to be constantly reaching out and bleaching out and rusting out to other people's lives because they can't just hang 10 in them, which really sucks because you're your own best friend. If you don't hang out with yourself, who else is going to want to, right? So a lot of this is like, who cares that things didn't work out the way that you wanted them to in the past? The thing is that it made you such a better person to show that just because your waters are murky, you don't have to go and shit in somebody else's. You don't have to go and stir up somebody else's pot just because they came and stirred up yours. You just stayed good. You nurtured yourself. You found peace amidst chaos. Those are all, the way that I see it, those are all lessons in themselves, and good lessons, worthwhile. People and living their wildest dreams could never possibly get the end of that type of information, nor absorb it. So one last card, look up. See how she's looking straight? She's got her arms up, but she's looking straight. The world's asking you to look up. Things are going to get better. That's what this whole thing is about, is that you've reached your higher self because everybody tried to get you to go to them. You stayed where you were. That takes unbelievable strength, my friends. Okay, so remember that. Ooh, yes. If life has been awkward for quite some time, find yourself getting to a much better place. Okay, because that's the thing is when you reach your higher self and you're tapped into your higher self, these lower frequencies that think they can mess with you, right, have no chance because you're connected to something higher, which means you don't even hear them, let alone pay attention to them. What a good reading. So anyways, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Okay, if it doesn't resonate, don't take it. It's all good. You can wait for the next one. Personal readings, whitneymoonshine@gmail.com. All right. And yeah, thanks for liking, commenting, subscribing, all the things you guys do. It's such a great channel. It's going to grow. We're going to manifest into something else pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, you know, like lots of changes, lots of, you know, you built yourself. So don't let somebody just take you down. It's not how this shit works. All right. So leave what doesn't resonate for somebody else. Okay. And always remember, these are collective readings. They are not personal readings. So if they do not resonate with you, it's all good. Wait for the next one. It's all good. There are plenty of readings that come out. Okay. It's a beautiful day. Oh yeah, actually, you know what? Today I'm going to do members reading. So look forward to that. Members who watch this, you will be getting a reading today. And yeah, that's it. Peace out. Stay gravy. Word to your mothers.